Rothel overseas has an unsettling warning from the head of the U.S. Strategic Command, Admiral Charles Richards, saying that America needs a better strategy to try and deter aggressive action from Russia and China that he fears could escalate into, quote, a real possibility of nuclear war, not just a theoretical possibility. Well, General Jack Keane is joining us. He is retired four-star general, former Army Vice Chief of Staff, Fox News senior strategic analyst, and a familiar face and voice for us. So, General, can you comfort us on this? What does he mean about a real possibility versus, something that we prepare for? What's your view of this new assessment?
Yeah, well, this is a discussion worth having. I mean, the American people have to understand the dangers of what inadequate defense capability, which we have some of that now, are for the country writ large, and also recognize that the change on gone now. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the United States was the only superpower in the world. We're sitting here 30 years later where that's just not the case. The fact is we have big power competition, as you mentioned, with China and Russia, both who have nuclear arsenals. If we're going to prevent nuclear war, there's two major things we must do. And we can learn this from our historical past because we have done this successfully against the Soviet Union. The first is making certain that we have a conventional war effective deterrence. In other words, we have the military means to deter our enemies from any attempt to want to go to conventional war with us. And we did that successfully. The Cold War never became hot as a result of that effective deterrence we had with the Soviet Union. And of course, the danger is if you have a conventional war and the loser believes that their survivability is threatened as a result of the loss of this war, they could escalate to nuclear weapons and nuclear war. That is the horrific scenario. The second issue, and by the way, we have a lot of work to do to build an effective conventional war deterrence. We are literally behind. Secondly, we have to have a modernized nuclear arsenal that in of itself as a deterrence. And it's not an incentive for our adversaries to take advantage of us because they see weaknesses in our nuclear arsenals. And we have profound weaknesses in ours. So we have lots of work to do here, Eric.
Who do you worry about the most, Russia or China?
China by far. And the reason is, here's the facts of it. We are outgunned in the Indo-Pacific region militarily right now. China has the largest Navy, the largest Air Force in the region, and the largest arsenal of offensive military missiles anybody has ever seen on the planet. And we have got to readdress this issue. We must reposition ships there, submarines, drones, fighters and bombers, and we also have to increase our offensive land-based missiles and our anti-ship missiles in a very large scale. They have hypersonic deployed missiles on their coastline, and we are still using prototypes to test that capability. We have got to catch up. The Trump administration has started us down that road, and the Biden administration hopefully is going to continue us down that road. And the same thing, our nuclear arsenal, the Chinese have a modern nuclear arsenal not as large as ours. Russia has the same size nuclear arsenal as the United States has, in accordance with the START Treaty, but theirs is modernized. They're completing a 10-year modernization program, Eric, and we are behind in that. Some of ours are in dire shape. We got to bring it up to a standard that they see as very credible, and we don't want them to have any incentive to use this capability. As I said at the outset, this is an urgent issue. It's a serious issue, but it's manageable. It's manageable if the national leadership focuses on it. Number two, the Department of Defense resets its military capabilities to adjust in accordance with what I was suggesting. Certainly they have their own views. And also modernize our capabilities. And the third thing is we need the support of the Congress and the American people to ensure that we have adequate defense budgets.
That is the warning from General Jack Keane. General Keane, China, the greatest threat that this country faces right now. General Keane, good to see you. Thank you, as always.
Yeah, good talking to you, Eric, as usual.